But my word is 3 syllables. What is it? It's a promotion.
All right.
All right.
Certain people can make me.
June 4th, 2024. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners. We are beginning.
Please
join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed with a moment of silence.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
sorry for the late start. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, as I mentioned, with Bobby Brooks out. We're a little bit lost, but Darius helped us to find our way. Thank you, Darius.
So getting right
into the agenda items, agenda item 3A.
For the
Maintenance
Department,
Department
request
authorization to contract with Centric Elevator to update the elevator controller. Why would we want to update the elevator controller, Kyla?
I don't know.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So as many of you know, there have been some issues with the elevator.
Yes.
Yes.
We have been dealing with Centric. They've come out a couple different times. They're wanting to update the CPU controller. What is failing on the elevator? At the moment, we replaced a couple parts. It doesn't seem to be fixing the problem. So by updating the controller.
Could I ask people to either leave the room when you're talking or not talking during the course of this? Thank you very much. You may.
So we're hoping to get authorization to update our CPU controller so that we can see what's failing on the elevator and be able to replace the correct parts. Currently, it's an older version. It doesn't show what is failing or where the error code is coming from.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I approve contract replacement of the elevator controller in the amount of $18,019. Department signed.
A second.
First and
First and a second, any discussion with
This
this
is
board?
right. One of the elevator options used to have. That's what it's called.
All right.
It was
Back in the 1800s.
Any discussion?
Seeing none,
Seeing
all
none,
in favor?
in favor?
Aye.
And I should have noted that state courts is going to chip in half the cost for us.
Oh,
Oh, well,
aye.
yeah.
Yes.
Does that have
That have
13 or 13 or
13 or half.
It's half of 13, so they're chipping in
Very nice.
$6,999.
Very good.
Very good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kyla. Next up, 3D Community Development Bureau. Request to amend plumbing service contract with Tri-County Plumbing. To allow the contract to be extended from March 31st to May 31st because of some kind of delays. Good morning.
Every building project has delays, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks and $5,000.
So they finished the work in May. We're just asking to extend this to allow rent to be paid. There's no change to the amount being paid. So the requested action is to extend Tri-County Plumbing Contractors Incorporated Community Development Remodel Contract not to exceed the $13,000 from March 31st, 2024 to May 31st, 2024, and authorize department head to sign.
Okay,
Got
a
a motion?
motion?
Tri-County Plumbing Contractor, Community Development, Remodel Contract, not to exceed $13,000. 31/4 to May 31/24 as a motion and authorize department head to sign.
Second.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
Seeing none?
Seeing none?
In the room?
In the room?
Is there a update on, you said to make,
No, he
No,
said May 31st, 2024, so we're just extending it 2 months in order for them to be able to contractually
Contractually
get paid.
get paid.
Did I not see it clearly?
So early in the meeting
I know.
so
Yeah.
the rest of the
Yes, it does.
All right. Any discussion in the room? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, Jill, you're up next as well on 3C, resolution 2403050932B, transfer of funds from operating contingency to the contracted services line items to cover the cost of the Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services Building Codes Division performing electrical inspections and electrical plan reviews.
So this is just an amendment to allow for, us to pay for the electrical, cost.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Big deal. Move to approve resolution 24-019B, transfer of funds from operating contingency contracted services, cover the cost of electrical inspections, electrical plan reviews by Oregon Department of Consumer Business Services Building Codes Division.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So help me understand this. Some of the states still been doing these inspections,
The
The
electric.
electric.
the electrical inspections, we pay them for doing their bills on our behalf.
I really think this is just to cover the cost where they were doing it before our electrical inspector got his certification.
I see.
Now he's certified, so you shouldn't have any more costs. This is just, they're a little bit behind, so.
Got it.
So, and the
So,
amount
and the
is something,
50,000.
50,000 or less.
Yes,
Yes,
it's not to exceed 50,000.
Okay.
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 Any other
Any other
discussion on
on
the,
the,
any
any
discussion in the
discussion
room?
in the room?
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
3D, request approval of job descriptions under maintenance IT. Thank you, Jill. Caroline, good morning again. Your other role.
Good morning. A request for approved job description. I actually have three job descriptions for board approval. Building maintenance operations manager, and that one will be under pay grade 831. We've made some modifications to the IT director job description and made minor changes to the building maintenance supervisor job description. These changes relate to the recent restructuring of the maintenance and IT department, and also request board approved payroll resolution 24-05-086E.
Okay.
Move we approve the revised job descriptions for the positions of one, the
maintenance and operations manager, two, the IT director, and three, the building supervisor, and to sign payroll
resolution 24-05-086B.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second, any discussion on the board?
And the
And the
resolution
resolution
has to do with
these
That's,
changes.
that's all, yes. Any other discussion on the board? Any discussion in the room? Right, all in favor? Aye. And congratulations to the occupants of the newly defined roles.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay,
Okay, a motion and a second, any discussion on the consent calendar? Any discussion in the room? All in favor? Aye. Okay, do we have any agenda item? I don't believe so. All right, let's move right into the commissioner reports. Who'd like to go first?
Mr. Maynard.
Last Saturday, I was privileged to go to the new medical center that Three Rivers Federation has started on 150 South Wall in Green Park. They will have regular medical, behavioral, pharmacy, and dental. Not only open to tribal members, they're going to open it up to the public. Which was really important. They want, I was told by many of the tribal elders that they want to promote health throughout the community. That was their primary purpose. It was really cool.
That is.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
Sure,
Sure,
people are
people
aware
are aware
that over the
over the
years,
years,
we have used a piece of private
private
property
property
in Myrtle
Myrtle
Point,
Point,
contiguous to
contiguous
the fairgrounds,
fairgrounds,
and
and
it's been
it's been
used
used
as
as
a
a
campground during
during
fairs
fair,
for largely
largely
the 4-H
4-H
families
families
that
that
come to the
come to
fair
the
and
fair
stay
and
the
stay the
duration.
duration.
It's a nice
Square
square
or
or rectangularly shaped pasture
and
and
owned by
the
the
Leap
elite
family of
family of
Myrtle
Myrtle
Point.
Point.
And
And
Mr. Leap
Mr.
has
Lee
passed away, and
today
Mrs. Leap
uh,
is in, I think, a rest home,
rest
care
home.
home somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
he
very graciously have arranged to donate that piece of ground to the fair. I don't know what we would do without camping for the duration of the fair.
Fair
Is
is
a very,
very, very
popular
thing,
and we
really almost run out of space, even as it is.
And
The thought of having to do without
the league
the league field
was
was really
frightening to us.
So you just
have
have to appreciate
the
the graciousness of people like the league. Mr. Lee,
I think
his brother, Sawmill,
at one time
in Myrtle Point. It's
long
long since down, but I think
it's
it's just a great
thing,
and
a lovely contribution for which we're very thankful.
Yep.
And I guess that's the main thing
I
that
have to
to
report.
report,
Like to
like report good whenever possible.
Oh, we should also say that we are now the physical agent for Green Acres Fire. So they can build a fire hall because they have to be out of their location by January of 26. They did not own that ground or the building. And we were basically the only option we had other than doing it and having the trucks out in the rain. It's going to be at the Green Acres Range, if you know where that is, right close to the fire hall. They have purchased that, so they're well on starting the whole process.
I'll add to that we had in our first meeting with Green Acres Fire, we had hesitated to act as their agent because of prior experience with the Doris Sitton Fire Hall that was built years ago, and the burdens that placed on personnel. We were reluctant to commit personnel to that and that arduous process. But Green Acres came up with a plan that would eliminate the vast majority of the workload on the county, and so based on reliance on what they have framed up, we went ahead and jumped on board and said we would help them out with that. It's very important to have Green Acres Fire coverage, particularly with the new ODOT facility going there on the corner of 101 and 2. And of course, the residents in Green Acres have to have fire. So we're grateful to be involved in that. So obviously, since our last meeting, it's become conclusively clear that the public safety levy did not pass. In rather grand fashion, it went down, and that states pretty clearly what the will of the people was on that topic. So we'll be faced with difficult decisions about how to handle that going forward, and I know county staff is anticipatory about what that is going to look like. We're not going to speak to any specifics about that today. We're not really actually prepared to. But we are going to have a discussion in this room at 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning. We have a discussion work session. And so anyone who wants to participate in that, I encourage you to come. I'll just say that I have heard over and over again ad nauseum about why don't they just move money from health and wellness? Why don't they just move money from the roads? Why don't they just cut, just cut? And the fact of the matter is, I may be the most fiscally conservative person I know. I mean, I'm not here to tax and spend or throw anybody's money away. Or to oversee an inefficient operation, or one that is missing opportunities to shift funds into places where they can be effectively utilized. The fact of the matter is that our hands are tied by state law, by funding requirements, by memorandums of understanding with state and federal government agencies, and there is no move around. So the only money we have remaining really at our disposal is going to be our American Rescue Plan remaining dollars. And that is going to do very much if we even decide to blow it on this. We have to have a long-term exit plan, how we're going to manage this fiscal budget going forward. And let me repeat, at risk of beating the dead horse, the problem here, the core problem here is one of continually shifting powers by the force of the federal government, shifting power away from the county through the means, the mechanisms, grants and funding mechanisms that they've put together, and the understandings that go along with it. Number one, and number two, the continued illegal taking of what are our rightful timber revenue from the ONC land and the wagon road primarily. So that's the fundamental problem, and it's not a matter of county waste. Over and over again, I hear this. It's just not true. In fact, I was incensed on Friday to see a posting on Facebook from somebody who took a picture of one of our county road crews that was on Fairview Road out by Vern Park. And there were 8 or 9 guys standing around the back of the truck and a machine there. And the postulation was, look at this, county government wasting our money again. Does it take 9 guys to fill a pothole? Well, you know what? Whoever initiated that post, I'm sorry, that's asinine, ridiculous, stupid. The reality is, of course, it doesn't take 8 or 9 people to fill a pothole. It takes what it takes to do whatever job. The roads department runs very efficiently. As a matter of fact, what they were doing that day is they were training on a new piece of equipment, a new crack seeder that we authorized the purchase of to replace the 20-year-old one that they used to have. And in order to operate the roads maintenance more efficiently and take care of the asset that we have. So those guys were out training with the manufacturer on a brand new piece of equipment. And I just encourage people to figure out facts, figure out what the truth is really before you run off talk. Because really, the blowback that I've seen on this erroneous false post is ridiculous. And it burns up everybody's time. It consumes the goodwill that really the should have with the voters based on the way the county actually runs. People would inform themselves. They would see a different picture. So running a little hot today. Sorry about that. Okay, that's all I had to say. And so let's move right on into the citizen comments. First up, the inimitable Phil Thompson.
Morning, Phil.
Good morning.
Phil Thompson, today. You said that people said, well, the sheriff's way. Basically, problems Well, a lot of people can't afford it. Yeah, since you had district was 65 billion for the schools and they passed some of the deal with the enhancement for the county that we had. So those people can't keep keeping it money. The other thing is a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I hate to say it, is a revenge. You guys realize you made mad, but if you went to the county, park down at that, I don't know how many people they were a lot. They didn't that what you guys were doing, but that road problem that was given citation,
The right of way issue. The rights of way issue.
yeah. And you're not transparent on a lot of this. I knew what was coming way before it happened. And I even told you're it's crazy. That's right. And the other thing is, how many people out of that bunch, and you was there, you think maybe revenge on this fact?
Well, that's a great question, Phil. I have no idea. I mean, if they're seeking revenge for the statement that, I mean, really, we got to look at the last condition of that whole situation, which is that we voted to review, revise, send that ordinance and review the whole way that process happened in order to dispel problems that exist. So, we basically did exactly what the landowners were looking for us to do. So if they want revenge about that, then that's off your nose to spite. But
I don't think it's excuse me, but I don't think they've got to feel bad because Ron Taylor gave a good speech on opposition this fact when he said to the man, you want to call it. The thing of it is, you guys don't, you solve half of one problem about the other half that hasn't come together yet on the counter's force you got in one like that. I'm still learning, and I know a lot of other people are. And so if we get anything, make you look good. And I'm sorry to tell you, but I do. When you taking all rights away.
Okay.
And I think you guys very much.
All right, thank you. I'll just speak to that and say that, it's not, I don't care about looking good. That's not what it's about at all. What it's about is preserving and maintaining justice in the county. And, we're speaking for myself, brother, I'm doing the best I can here. So, try to make the best, most informed and rational decisions I can based on the information that's available. And I'll also say that in the last 3 weeks, I've had several discussions revolving around options to explore opening at least one more of those, maybe two more of those county forest roads that would provide access to the greatest bulk of land, ways that we could proceed with that without endangering the fiscal viability of the county due to labor that have to put into garbage out of the forest every other day. It's a real problem, but we may have a way to solve that. So coming soon to a dais near you.
Just so there isn't any confusion, at the third meeting at the Oaks Pavilion, concerning a road right-of-way issue, I made a motion to we terminate the project. It was seconded, we voted on it, it's no longer. If you don't know, that's what happened. We're not doing it.
Okay. Sorry. You won't go. No.
I could go on further, but it was very emotional for everybody.
It was. I'm glad that we're at the point that we're at. I feel that it's the right. All right. The unmatched Marty Tripp, who just got a haircut. Well, since I saw you.
Anyway, Marty, Band in Oregon, hi guys, how you doing? A couple of things. One, if you get upset about people on Facebook posting things, you're gonna waste your life. Facebook is all about posting idiot things.
Point
But
stipulated.
if you get on there and say, by the way, these people were doing training, that's why there were so many there, leave it at that. Okay, problems. What else did I want to bring up? A while back, you guys approved the Red Cross County Fairgrounds.
Right.
And then, Fairgrounds goes, hey, there's an emergency, we need your fairgrounds. You said, okay, fine. One thing I would like you guys to do, if possible, is amend that and say, all three commissioners have to agree to it before it happens, because my word is Red Cross will go, all these illegal immigrants and borders, the humanitarian crisis, we're gonna have 10,000 on your fairgrounds. It's the crisis of the Red Cross, or you guys have. And I'm like, it's not outside the realm of possibilities that can happen. So I'm just wondering if there's some way you can fail state. We're not going to hindsight. We're going to use the fairgrounds. We want to be able to say, yes, this is the fairgrounds. No, this is ridiculous. You can't do it. So if it's something you can think about it. That's all I have.
While you're still there, put counselor on the spot. What do you think? Think that's something we might be able to go back and revise on that contract?
I can have it. Yeah, I mean, it's just look. I mean, I'm being overly paranoid, but nowadays paranoia is just overthinking.
Right. I need some conspiracy theories because all my wishes came true.
This evening at 5:30, there's a meeting at the middle school, Students Bay, similar to the meetings about windmills, except this time it's a state organization that's having a meeting, a listening session. Hopefully they'll listen as opposed to the phone meetings where they said you're listening to propaganda that you can't talk. So anyway, 5:30 is a middle school that kind of have by Empire, so I just thought you guys know about that and everybody else is listening.
It's Sunset Middle School, 245 South Cannon.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't log into my phone for some reason. I'm like,
starts at 5:30, then there's for get together, and then 6 for some kind of presentation. 6:30 would be the public.
Yeah, I'll be there holding up a sign at like 5-ish, so we'll see you there.
So, Commissioner Maine, you said public comment. That implies that there's actually going to be comment out that other public can hear.
Right.
Wow. What a novel.
Put on by LCD.
Okay. Yeah, and I just thought I would bring it up.
Which is a great state of Oregon.
Yeah. It's the state of Oregon, not Bureau of Ocean Energy Management.
Right.
Okay. And
something about that.
Okay.
A little sidetrack here. Some years ago, I don't know if you know this, but listening to on a Zoom meet, and they had a gentleman from Portland, Audubon. I've told some of these people already. They asked about food strikes, and the gentleman said, "Oh, we don't really have any data." And there was a bit of a pause, and he said, "Well, however, those windmill companies should just be able to grow more birds." Really? I have it on tape. A couple of years ago. And so I thought, well, that's cool. Okay, so the different companies can grow more spotted owls and rails. That's okay. But wait a minute, it's not just green.
But growing birds?
No.
Growing birds heads off the windmills.
The windmills.
Oh, okay. Now there's nothing about it, but
I know. But it's perception.
Yes.
I think that think
that was it.
The Red
The
Cross
Red Cross
thing,
thing,
windmill thing.
thing.
Oh, and then
then
one
one
comment would be, I saw, it's like all these people getting automatic pay raises. And I'm like, if we're that far in the hole budget-wise, shouldn't we just say, well, pay raises are off until we figure out how they money coming in?
Except they're all union contracts.
Okay, I kind of thought that was the answer, but I figured I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up. Thank you.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening.
See you tonight.
Yeah, I'll see you this evening.
All right. Okay, next up, the always tenacious James Beck. Good morning, Jim.
James Bennett. So I'm over my personal tsunami, so I'll be more engaged being either a pebble in your shoe or a magnet, depending on how you look at it. I support you following our route and trying the tools and the foundation that stand on to reclaim our local DNA. As you know, all capital letters line of our problem from outside the Our Constitution has more rules for local control than a mass panic. So, consensus that I'd like. A lot of the budget problem regarding safety has to do with all of these homeless criminals, mental patients in these failures here into our community. It's just more consensus. And based on that, you should be able to test it. And I know it's standing in Colorado. Like I said, doesn't get to say so, but we are at war. It's administrative, institutional warfare. And that should be obvious. Anyway, I sent you an email this and with more saving clauses, Constitution, your foundation, support do the right thing, is what I should do. So anyway,
All right, thank you. Yeah. Is there anybody who did not sign up but would like to tender some comment at this time? Susan? Yeah, this is the shortest meeting since I've been sitting here.
A long time.
Yeah.
Susan Kirkendall, Coos Bay. Just now thinking about it, comment coming up after being at the Ron White town hall meeting. I had a question concerning the flaw that we have in our state election registration process. When I mentioned him, he was unable to give me an answer, and so I just kind of gave you the same that I gave him. And I gotta say stop because I'm just trying to figure it out. Starting first of 2021, Oregon are required to provide proof of fuel, presence, or citizenship to get a driver's license. This was what I told him is that it is often reported that our border is so porous. We have hundreds of thousands of people that are pouring across that we know that's not the ones that are in the dead of the night. This as many states, also this is going to be our here. We no longer have to prove citizenship to get a driver's license. When you register to vote, all you have to do is show a driver's license. It goes the ability to maintain our state requirement to vote, as well as our requirement to vote. I'm not asking you to do anything. It's outside of your. But it was interesting to me
that Ron White had no answer. He went on my first statement, he went on to praise the vote by mail. And I gave him my answer that I work in the elections during election season to count those ballots. That's not my question. My question goes back to that weakness, that point where we have people who have an ability with a driver's license to come in and register to vote. He said his office would get back in touch with me. They have not yet, which is fine. I understand it's a busy season for them. They're doing town halls all over. But I wanted to let you guys know, because it seems like a lot of people are unaware of this.
Out of 65,000 people in the county, roughly, over 49,000 registered to vote.
Well, what concerns me is that weakness, that if they do come in, if they're housed at Red Cross, and they want to get a driver's license, and they are encouraged to vote because they have that driver's license, and they're not citizens.
Correct.
It is against the law, both federally and at the state level.
It
so I
tends to destroy our sovereignty.
I can't go vote in Mexico.
Isn't it true that when you receive a driver's license, you're automatically registered to vote?
Your name is on the list, and you can also go in and get your little registration card. In fact, I have the document here from all the legal entities that you can do it online. You just give that number that's on there, and you just mark the box that says I am a U.S. citizen. I used to tell my kids that if you're willing to lie about a little thing, you're willing to lie. If they've come here and they're not asking permission, they're willing to lie. And it's a breach in my level of being confident. And I just wanted to mention it to you guys. And I am going to go to Merkley's meeting on Friday, since we're talking about everybody having town halls and meetings. And I'm going to pose the same question to him, and I'm going to see if he can give me a position to stand on that helps me to be more confident, which I don't think he can.
No.
Because it's huge. It is like this great big gate in our citizenship.
It's not an accident.
Oh, I agree. I'm just trying to be a reasonable voice when I do present this, so that, I mean, it just is.
Yeah.
And it just needs to be fixed.
You want another little tidbit?
Well, only if it's good news, because so far this has not been good.
It's not going to be good news.
Oh,
No good news.
Now, write this down. ORS,
I don't have my.
Oregon Revised, I'll give you one. Here's one.
Oh, look at that. I've got all sorts of.
Oregon Revised Statutes, ORS,
Okay,
254.470,
0.470.
Procedures for Conducting Election by Mail, Section 8. And I copied it from the law. So this is exactly what it says. If the elector returns the ballot by mail, and the postal indicator is not present or legible, the ballot shall be considered to be mailed on the date of the election and may be counted if the ballot is received no later than 7 calendar days after the election.
I'm aware of that because of having worked in there. So,
Okay?
yeah.
So if I assume that since ballot harvesting is legal in Oregon, if something that you were passionate about, or me, or whoever else, didn't pass by a few votes, you could go out there and beat the woods and find a few ballots and get them to vote.
You need some ballots.
Well, and that's what my concern is. That, all the other things I think is under my ability to have a focus on. So I can focus on this. It is a huge loophole.
Yeah.
And it is against law at the state as well as at the federal level. You cannot vote if you're not a U.S. citizen.
And some people object to, well, I can only vote on that day, and if I work late, I can't get to the polls, on and on and on. So what about, you change that to, the polls will be open Friday, Saturday from 8 to 8, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Tuesday's the final day. So there's no excuse, it goes over the weekend and all that.
My other one was.
But you do it in person.
The postmark is and working in the elections office and having conversations during break time, because you can't talk about it when you're counting ballots, because you got to get to 25 every time.
was it is just as easy to get your ballot to the drop box, and the drop box has a deadline. They pick them up at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, and then they're done. They don't pick up anymore. It's the loophole is that postal.
Yeah,
And
right.
it loses custody all over the place.
That's right.
There's no custody anymore. There's not a,
Right.
I voted, this is mine, and I'm giving it to the ballot box, and there's no other hand gonna touch this except the elections officials.
And if you don't know, many countries, especially in Europe, have done away with vote by mail.
Well,
There's so many problems with it, they just said, forget it.
it just goes against every law that's on the book. That's what's bothering me, is that we have laws on the books and they are of no consequence anymore. It's not mattering anymore, so.
And this issue that you raised, Susan, is particularly concerning to me when it's combined and compounded with and compounded by the reality of phantom voters and phantom ballots. It's a very real thing. My wife and I saw it firsthand. We were provided a list that was based on suspected phantom voter situations throughout Coos County. There were maybe a couple of hundred at least on this list, and we went knocked on I think like 16 doors, and the vast majority of them, the first 7 right off the bat, we found an address where we knocked on the door. There's a name that had voted from that address who did not live there, and the people did not know who they were. Those are ballots that were cast and counted. So that's just 2 of us going out knocking on 7 doors, and we found 7 of them. Boom.
I agree. Don't have the capacity to focus on those, but I can continue to focus on this one loophole. I'm hoping that those other loopholes will get closed up too. Just wanted to mention it to you because even Mr. Whiten couldn't answer my question and ended up having his administrative lady, Molly, come in and sit down with me for a second. So haven't heard back from her.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. I
I'd
wouldn't
like
hold my breath.
I want to thank Susan for pointing out some of these weaknesses in our voting system, and I agree with those need to be dealt with. But I think it's also really important to thank you and others who volunteer their time to help with our elections. Well, it's close to I don't think it even unless you hitchhike here, I doubt that it covered your gas.
Well,
and let me finish.
yeah.
And the other thing, and she's not here, but that on my visits to the clerk's office during the counting time of votes, what I saw was a highly organized, very well run, functioning office. And I hope I saw what was really there.
I'm away from the mic, but I'm going to say that when I first went in there, I'm one of the few that have an R by my name, and you had to have a D or an I by your name so that it's a balanced system. I'm comfortable with that, and that was Ron White's statement was, but it works this way, and I said that's not my problem. I understand. I'm one of those who sits there and counts 25. You have to have 25 envelopes and 25 ballots, and if they don't match up, it goes back and gets counted again and again and again until it can be rectified. It's this other little piece. That ballot is not my problem. It is where that ballot got originated. That ballot's point of registration. I'm not comfortable with it, so I just thought I'd mention.
Just another little thing that maybe be discussed tomorrow, but there's only 2 folks in elections anymore, and only 2 in recording for the clerk. That's it.
Yes, I know.
Everybody else is gone. No more positions over the years. We used to have a lot more people there. And a lot of other county departments in the general fund are the same situation. And all this talk, like Rod said earlier, about all this money that we could just transfer here and there isn't any, unless we totally wipe out various departments. No more county clerk, except for the clerk. Huh? So who does the recordings? I mean, she has to go to the doctor and, stuff. So how do you cover? Same way with assessor or tax collector, whoever. There's nothing left. We're down to almost nothing. The only reason we didn't have this situation a couple of years ago was because this Biden, I call it funny money, ARP, American Recovery Plan, that we supplemented with. Otherwise, we'd had this problem several years ago.
Well, I know I volunteered to do some work, so I'll come back.
And I was going to speak to that as well. For anybody in the room who's not aware, Susan, even though she's getting paid nominally for what she did to help out with elections, she's volunteered to help the roads department provide some definition and correct records on many of the county roads. And that's going to be, I don't know how many dozens or hundreds of hours by the time she's done with that, but it's going to be substantial. And so thank you again, Susan, for your volunteerism and your willingness to sacrifice of your own time to benefit the county and all the people. Appreciate it very much. Well, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
And one more addendum that I want to throw on, and that is that when I talk about phantom voters and the problems with mail-in balloting, I'll say it, I've said it before, I'll say it again. My concern is not with the Coos County clerk or her office. I believe that that our clerk is operating an efficient department and doing it honestly and on the up and up. I do believe there are serious problems with the voter registration process, with mail-in balloting, as well as with the machines that count those ballots. But it has nothing to do with our clerk's office, so
Yep,
I just
correct.
wanted to clarify that one more time.
Yep.
I agree with you.
All right.
Rod,
And-
can I comment briefly on the election thing?
Certainly you may, Jim, and anybody else who wants, we'll let everybody speak who wants to speak.
James Bennett Bandit. So what I'm learning, as though our universities haven't been weaponized enough, the Oregon Student Association has some hundreds of thousands of members. And if they send out a mailer, and if they say that they're considering maybe moving to Oregon one day, they can chime in. And this is changing the complexion of our elections. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, they're getting two ballots. One to vote in their state and
Yep.
one to vote here.
Yep, I've seen that as well.
And that's not right. Aside
No.
from them chiming in with all of the unconstitutional consensus stuff.
Right.
But our silence is our consent, right?
Okay, anybody else who did not sign up, care to share any thoughts? Going? Gone. Thank you all for being
Thanks,
here. We
everyone.
are adjourned.